Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. Today I want to talk about really my only minimalism regret. The only regret I have when it comes to my minimalist journey, and it's a big one, I think. So what I'm regretting is actually focusing too much on stuff. Now that might seem controversial because of course pursuing minimalism for most of us means that we look at our things, look at the things we own, declutter all of these things, try to figure out what the things are that we actually need and want for our future life or for our life right now as well. And of course, the other side of it that I'm covering in the video I'm linking you up here is that we also should think about our consumption habit, consuming things, being mindful of the things that come into our lives. So things are an obvious category when it comes to minimalism. A lot of people also restrict minimalism or their minimalist journey to things. They declutter their belongings, they have then a limited amount of things. Maybe then the things that remain even give off this minimalist style, Scandinavian, clean vibe that some people go for. But I think minimalism is so much more than things. And I think focusing on things so much was a mistake and the only thing that I really regret when it comes to minimalism. So obviously minimalism changed a lot in my life and it changed a lot for the better. I am very happy with where I am at now. I do want to continue using minimalist practices to live a life that is focused on my priorities and also being able to just cut everything out of my life that is just unnecessary and adding stuff and stress. So why do I think focusing so much on the external, on the things that I own was a mistake, and how did that look? So I started my minimalism journey similar to a lot of other people when I started just decluttering my things. I got rid of the stuff that did not mean a lot to me, and I felt this freeing feeling, and I was just very relieved after I got rid of a lot of stuff and realized that I actually don't need that much. The stuff is just like, that's the easiest part. Like you can actually see it and you can actually prevent it from getting worse again, kind of. So focusing on stuff feels easy and it feels like you're in control. And I think that is what happened to me. I was happy to see that my belongings would become less and less, and I would feel like I'm making progress because my things were getting less and less. But that is also, I think, kind of a misconception, because focusing on getting rid of more and being really good at decluttering does not make you a good minimalist. Thinking about what you need to exchange, how to get better and better things for your life is almost as bad as accumulating things, getting more and more expensive and better things like a lot of us do that are not minimalists. So this is the same, just in the other direction. Especially if you're like competing against yourself or against other minimalists to have less things, to have the more minimalist things, to have the more minimalist aesthetic or lifestyle, then I think you kind of miss the whole point. And while I wouldn't say that I was ever very obsessed with decluttering or that I ever was experiencing really like the bad side of trying to declutter more and more, focusing only on the things that I could still get rid of and never feeling relieved unless I would like be able to declutter a lot. I did not really experience that, but I definitely did focus on things too much, and maybe I still do. So one thing that is maybe different in my journey from yours is that since 1.5 years I am putting videos on YouTube about my minimalist journey. And videos are visual, so you see things, or you see the lack of things, or you see what I declutter and what I buy. And that I think invites to focus on things, because the things are the only thing that I can actually show you, the only proof of me being a minimalist or something like that. But that is not true. That is completely missing the best benefits that minimalism can give us. while I cannot really show you any progress, where I cannot prove that I am a great minimalist when it comes to mindset, when it comes to my thoughts, when it comes to my time management, I, for myself, in my life, do experience the most benefits in these areas. Because a decluttered life, while I love it, and I would never want to go back to having a lot of things that don't mean anything to me, still does not just make me happy or does not solve any problems. Except for like not having enough storage or needing to clean a lot maybe. But the real benefits of minimalism for me are actually getting to know myself better, gaining clarity on the things that are important to me, opening up like time and resources and energy for these areas, for the things that I'm passionate about, so that I can devote more time and more energy to these areas. Now, of course, this is kind of tied to the stuff part. So I think minimalism is harder to achieve or harder to practice if you completely set aside all material things and never focus or never think about decluttering. But I still think that these areas that are so hard to capture because it's happening in our minds and it's happening like every day in our life and is not reflected by our possessions are the areas where minimalism has the most benefits, at least for me. So in my minimalist journey until recently, I completely underestimated the power of the non-material areas. And I do have to say, I think it's much harder to declutter areas that are not material because there, again, you cannot really measure the progress. It's harder to see for yourself if you made progress, and it's also harder to like keep things out. When I declutter a piece of clothing, I can give it away and then it belongs to somebody else. It will not sneakily come back into my life on its own. But when it comes to like habits or certain thoughts that we want to declutter, it's very hard to actually declutter them for good. With this video, I really want to encourage you to also focus on the other areas. And yes, it can be daunting, it can even be disappointing, it can be a lot harder because you do not get this great feeling of, wow, I've decluttered a mountain of things when it comes to your habits and mindsets. And I do think that that is an endless journey, kind of. At some point, you're maybe almost done decluttering and you only exchange items every now and then. But I think when it comes to our minds and when it comes to all the non-material areas of minimalism, even digital decluttering, that kind of seems to collect items very fast, always, again and again. But especially the other areas of like, how do we treat ourselves? What habits do we do each and every day or each and every week? How do we think? How do we use our energy and resources in the best way? That's an area where we can always learn. But that's also a beautiful part of it. Because for me, minimalism is about practicing. It will never end. Of course, maybe minimalism will become more or less important at certain times in my life, but the practices of really determining what is right for me at the moment, how I can focus my energy on the things that are really important to me and then that can have a good and a big impact on the world, is a topic where I want to focus more energy towards and where I think there's an endless opportunity to improve without feeling that you're not good enough anymore, but with the opportunity to grow and learn when we get older or just when we move through life and get more experienced. And that is a beautiful thing that I'm looking forward to. So let me know what you think about these things, if you have started decluttering your material things, or if you have thought about the non-material areas of minimalism. And if you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up to support my channel. And if you want to support my channel even further, you can also think about becoming a member. You can find the button for that next to the subscribe button. And now, if you want to watch more videos, I'm going to link you a video here and a playlist here that you can check out if you're interested. And I also hope to see you next time. Bye!